Thank you very much, everyone. My name is Arda Büyükkaya. Today, I am going to speak about one of the most notorious phishing-as-a-service platform called as ONNX Store. And I will show you how the true attribution dismantled this 4-year-long operation. Before walking into the details, I wanted to go around the agenda. I will first start with the concept, the understanding the concept of the phishing-as-a-service platform. Then I will be discussing the technical details of the ONNX Store phishing kit. I will move forward the attribution phase. How did I able to pinpoint the real individual behind this? And then the importance of it, what we achieved after the true attribution. Finally, I will wrap up this session by discussing the prevention methods and the key takeaways. Just a quick about me. I am working as a senior cyber threat intelligence analyst at Eclectic IQ. Eclectic IQ is a threat intelligence platform. We are delivering actionable intelligence and helping companies to prioritize their intelligence requirements. I have more than 4 years of experience in CTI community. I have a background in malware analysis and incident response. If you wanted to follow my previous work, you can follow me on X or LinkedIn accounts. I would love to. So let's start the understanding the concept of the phishing-as-a-service platforms. I try to use a little bit of the Breaking Bad team over there because it is quite interesting that how did they operate. They are working almost like a unicorn startup companies. They have a customer support. They are providing you easy-to-use dashboards and tools to increase the possibility of the chance of the successful phishing attack. So I want you to imagine that you are a threat actor who is financially motivated and wanted to target financial institutions. So how you are going to do that if you want to do the phishing attack? You need to know, you need to have an experience about how to bypass two-factor authentication, how to create a social engineering team, create an infrastructure, and so on. So phishing-as-a-service kits, phishing-as-a-service platform is come to your help as a prepackaged tool of services that help you to perform these attacks much more easily. Increase the scalability with easy-to-use dashboard, increase you the chance of the possible successful attack, and so on. So how does this knowledge exchange going on in the underground markets? The threat actors who are developing this kind of services are exchanging their expertise into the phishing attacks, into the phishing campaigns by the exchange of the cryptocurrencies over some of the underground forums, XSS, exploit.in, sometimes Telegram. These are the main marketplaces for the threat actors to sell and advertise their tools and branding. So they are using the cryptocurrencies because they wanted to evade the money transaction detection. They wanted to continue their operational security while doing their activities. So let me continue with a little bit of the technical details of the ONNX Store. The ONNX Store itself is the brand name of the phishing kit. Again, they are working like a startup company. They have an advertisement, they have naming, they have logos. So the starting of the main story for the ONNX Store phishing kit is started around 2023, early 2023, but their true roots are going back to the 2020s. You can see that in the timeline, they made it multiple branding changes. They started with as a caffeine store, and then they changed that over time until the ONNX Store. Why did that do that? Why did that change that branding? It's simply they wanted to collect more cyber criminals who wanted to buy their products. It was mainly managed by a persona that is being called himself as Mr. X Coder. And according to the Microsoft, they identified that, according to their own research about the ONNX Store, they identified more than 16.8 million phishing emails that is being associated to cyber criminals who use the ONNX Store phishing kit. So it is a huge number that we need to take consideration. It is enabling the cyber criminals and lowering the bar of the entry for the cyber criminals to conduct business email compromises. This is how it is look if you are a threat actor who buy this service. You can able to play with it over the Telegram account of the Caffeine Store, which is around 2021 when it is first started. You can see that they are creating polls to basically giving the cyber criminals a choice which financial institution as a cyber criminal you wanted to target. And you can see that some of the banks are located in the United States. Also in the back end of the day, there's the European banks. They are being targeted. So the cyber criminal behind it, the threat actor, Mr. X Coder, develops this ready-to-use phishing landing page, social engineering team, specifically that target. So it is a service and experience being sold out. And this Telegram channel helping them to, as a communication bridge between the Mr. X Coder and his own team, customer service team, developers team, with the financially motivated cyber criminals. But let me ask you this, why did they do the rebranding process? The reason why behind it is simply a bad reputation. You can see that one of the threat actors published a forum thread in XSS and mentioning that their evasion techniques is not that good enough. They advertise that they are very good in the evasion techniques. They have a customer support, but this threat actor tells that, hey, it is not working anymore. And it is not working. I couldn't able to continue my phishing attacks. So after that one-star review, if you may, they decided to do the rebranding. And you can see that other threat actors mentioning, answering the same threat as, hey, seems like you got scammed. I mean, it's a bad reputation for them. So they decided to move forward from Caffeine Store as ONNX Store. They changed their logo, they changed their Telegram account, and also the tactics they are using to evade detection, which is what makes things interesting. So fast forward, this is the Telegram channel. This is the new one after the rebranding, which is ONNX Store bot. They are using Telegram bots and the Telegram services, which is operated by the human beings, which is mostly the Mr. X Coder himself is being contacted with other threat actors to continue their operation. And you can see that there are different abilities they are giving you in a different price ranges between 400 euros or $200 and continue like that. They give you the webmail service, creation of the infrastructure, social engineering team. All of them is included inside this service. I also mentioned the customer support, and you can see that this is the 24-hour customer support. Even you can't get that kind of customer support in Netflix accounts if you have a subscription for it, right? I mean, it's kind of a nice thing to have for the cyber criminal to continue their operations if they stuck about something. And I mentioned that it's a branding, it's an advertisement game, marketing game they are making. They publish in their Telegram channel that if you as a cyber criminal post one of the example of the successful phishing attack, we are going to give you 3-day free access. So it is quite interesting. It continues to gain more momentum by doing this. So here is one of the phishing email that we do the analysis on. This was targeting one of the engineering companies, and similar attack has been done against financial institutions. You can see that it was being delivered with the PDF file, with the social engineering team, specifically targeting that company. And inside the PDF document, they have a QR code. It is being embedded in it. So by using that QR code, victim is being trapped to the phishing landing page. So we know that the most of the time, in order to evade detection, they use this technique to be able to evade anti-malware scanners or email gateways, and then deliver the initial payload. So the victim basically needs to scan that from his own mobile phone in order to go that phishing landing page. And we know that most of the time, companies don't have enough visibility on their employees' mobile phone, employees' mobile devices, which is also a technique used by the threat actor himself cleverly by understanding gap and continue their operations. This is one of the example of the QR code phishing social engineering team. When you receive that PDF document, they are basically using the HR or finance department. So they try to make something interesting for their victims to scan that QR code and continue to phishing landing page. So what was the phishing landing page looks like after that? This is the step. The first step, if you are a victim of this phishing campaign, is Cloudflare CAPTCHA. You might ask, why did they use the Cloudflare infrastructure, Cloudflare systems, before handling the phishing landing page? It's simply one of the tactics that we observed in the phishing-as-a-service platforms. Most of them have started to abuse Cloudflare services to using the CAPTCHA as an anti-sandbox technique. If you scan that URL, that you can see it over there on VirusTotal or any other your favorite sandboxes, if the link is new and you got made the scan, you will see zero detection because that sandbox system is simply a bot and it needs to bypass that CAPTCHA. If there is no human being, the sandbox doesn't going to scan it, so it will be evade detection. And after the human interaction with the CAPTCHA system, it will redirect the victim into the landing page that you can see. It asks you to do Microsoft account details for the business email compromise, and also the two-factor authentication. The two-factor authentication is important that we need to understand. And how did they do to access this information? It is called as adversary in the middle attack, which helps the threat actor to capture exact two-factor authentication token, passwords, and the session cookies that is being generated. So I created a simple diagram to understand this. It started with victim enters their passwords and then two-factor authentication. It redirects, it proxy out to the legitimate Microsoft domain. If the Microsoft domain authenticates you, if the credentials are correct, the session cookie is being generated. So that session cookie proxied back to the threat actor himself. By using this session cookie, they can able to re-register himself as a victim's account. So here you go, that's a business email compromise. And we know that after the business email compromises, the ransomware attacks could occur most of the times. So let me quickly go over the attribution phase. We so far understand the main tactics that the phishing kit utilize to target their victims. But how did I utilize the attribution techniques to identify who is the real person behind that attack? This was one of the starting points of my research. It was an API error. Just like any human beings, they are making mistakes. So I found one of the poor mistake that Mr. Xcoder himself made when he is creating the backend. So you can see that there is a similarity between the Caffeine Store and the ONNX Store. They mention you, hey, your API has been expired. So you need to contact with the administrator of it. So now we understand who is the administrator is, because you can see that Mr. Xcoder is there. And also you can see that there is a overlaps between two infrastructure, because the error itself is same between the Caffeine Store, which was I observed in 2023, and the ONNX Store in 2024. The error messages is very same. So I utilize this and then continue to the attribution process. Why did they give you that error message? It's simply that if you are using a subscription-based software, if you didn't pay that with your credit card, for example, it will give you an alert on your email, right? It will say that, hey, you need to pay that price before continue. So this is the same thing. This is telling the cybercriminal that, hey, you basically forget to pay that money from the Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency, so please pay the money so I can able to give you the access to the API. And the Mr. Xcoder himself is over there. You can see it. He's posting his advertisements on some of the underground forums that cybercriminals hang out and sell their services. What I did observe is Mr. Xcoder himself is also known by other personas. One of them is ORVX. ORVX is another threat actor that we know that's selling some initial accesses. So they seems like know each other's real name. So it is quite interesting. They are talking each other between, hey, nice try, Omar, or hey, how are things going, Abnoob? So these are probably the name of the threat actors. That's the assessment that I observe. And here's another advertisement. Since they couldn't able to use YouTube to continue their advertisements for the illicit activities, they decided to use similar platform to the YouTube. It's called as CracksTube. And if you go there, you can see other phishing-as-a-service vendors, other cyber criminals who advertise their services. So I basically watch these videos, each and every of them. This is the how-to videos, how-to demonstration videos that show you how to conduct the phishing attack, how to use our platform. You can see that he accidentally dropped some of his Gmail accounts, some of his email accounts when trying to capture the screen of the phishing attack. He accidentally clicked on the text bar, and the text bar dropped down all of the saved accounts that has been very likely or almost certainly associated with the Mr. Xcoder. So after that, I use that information, I use that email accounts that Mr. Xcoder leaked accidentally. So that's another mistake. That's another operational security mistakes threat actor done. I do a reverse whois lookup. That's one of my favorite tools, by the way, to be able to understand which email is associated with which domain, which infrastructure. This way, I can able to understand and improve my attribution quality. So I need to double check that, is it real or not? You can see that this Yahoo email in the reverse whois lookup is associated with Mr. Xcoder back.info domain. So we know that it is actually related to it. And after a couple of other researches about the emails, because there was 7 of them, so I used the Have I Been Pwned or other open source intelligence tools to understand who is this real person is. And as you can see that there are multiple leaks, he basically accidentally infected himself with the info stealer. And that info stealer published on some of the Telegram groups, or he was using a gifting domain that was previously being hacked. So I can see that who is the real person behind that email account. From that account, I observed, I pivoted a telephone number that was inside one of the leaked databases. And after that telephone number, I can able to save it on my mobile phone, and then I can see that Telegram account that was being associated with the Mr. X Coder persona himself. So here is the bingo. That's the person. And then I found the Facebook account. The Facebook account is associated to his real location, and so on. So this is the whole pivoting technique that I utilize to uncover the person. And here you can see his real Facebook account. His real name is Abnub Nadi, his universities, where he is living. And also I found his Gmail account. The funny thing is that he's going to a bike shop in Egypt. And I think he doesn't like that place. As you can see, it's a dirty place and smells like poison. So it's quite sad, you know. But it is good for us that we identified who is that person is. Also, some of other threat researchers, after I published my own threat research on Eclectic IQ's blog post, they also published their own findings. Dark Atlas is one of them. It's an Egyptian company. And also some of other social network InfoSec community members, like Russian Panda, she also published the details. She probably used the similar techniques that I utilize and do the attribution by that way. So you might ask, so what? What we achieved after doing that? This is the document. It has been published on one of the court documents. The Microsoft and the LF projects, they are being sued. They take an illegal action against Abnub Nadi, aka Mr. X Coder himself. So we understand that true attribution can able to help governments and companies to identify the real persona. So you can see in that document Abnub Nadi himself as a real person instead of a person hiding behind his computer. Same thing also happens in ransomware attacks, so we need to have that more. And you can see that they steal the ONNX Store phishing kit, steal the logo of the LF projects. So LF project sue them because of that logo stealing thing. And you can see the example at the down section. So the Microsoft infrastructures is also being utilized in this campaign. I think more than 500 times that I observed. So all of this Microsoft infrastructure was being taken down because they now understand who is the person behind it, because he have a Microsoft account associated to this persona. He have a Gmail account associated to this persona. So they can able to take offline immediately every single infrastructure that utilize Microsoft infrastructure for the phishing attacks. So it's a good thing to do. And you can see that after the attribution process, this spike that is being started around 2023 and continues through it until the publication of the threat research. After the threat research block being published, we made the attribution, identified the real person, and then you can see a down immediately because the threat actor himself got very scared and he shut down the whole operation. Because if you go to his Facebook, you can see that who he's like, you know, where he's going to gym. You can see his whole life. So he got scared and then decided to shut down the whole operation. So it can disrupt their operations, their cybercrime operations, and impose cost against cybercriminal. It can be also used as a deterrence. It could be a phishing kit today, but maybe next day it could be a ransomware attack. It could be lockbit. So if you do the attribution correctly, you are making them harder to continue their campaigns, their attacks. So I will wrap it up with the prevention methods. as a IT administrator, as a CTI analyst, how can you able to stop this? What we observed is they are mostly targeting cloud infrastructure, which is associated with the Microsoft 365 accounts. So if you are using Azure environment, if you are using Microsoft 365 for your business emails, this is the main target for the threat actor. This is the most of the attack that we observe is associated to that. So I will highly suggest you to apply the conditional access policies inside the Azure environment or any kind of email system that you are using. The conditional access allows you to stop the attack, to stop the breach before happening, because they steal the token, they steal the session cookie. At the end of the day, threat actor needs to reuse that token. But guess what? He's going to try to enter his victim's email inside Egypt, because we saw that he's living in Egypt, or Russia, or Turkey, or Azerbaijan. You can able to block specific IP addresses, specific location, or create risk-based anomaly detection to avoid that ever happening. Invest in advanced anti-phishing tools. Everybody knows that. The FIDO2 passkeys is also quite interesting one. The Azure itself allow you to create passwordless authentication methods. That way, the traditional way of the phishing attacks, like receive the password, receive the two-factor authentication, send it back to the Microsoft, generate the session cookie, it no longer works because there is additional layers of security, additional layers of authentication. And one of them is the FIDO2 passkeys. So your business employees can able to log into his email account by using a mobile device, his Face ID, and so on. So it added additional security layers. Key takeaways. So that's the end of the conversation. The popularity of the cloud-based identity attacks. What did I tell you about it? We observed the most of the attack is centered mostly around the Microsoft 365 and other cloud vendors. They wanted to achieve business email compromise, because when they do that, they can able to access SharePoint. They can able to exfiltrate data, which is critical for your businesses. And the importance of actionable intelligence. As I mentioned to you, we conduct the TTP analysis. What is the attack pattern? So we understand that they switched to the QR code that is inside the PDF document. They are using adversary in the middle. So these are the attack patterns that we saw, we observed. This is the intelligence that we published, which helps you as an IT administrator or CTI analyst to continue to do the other analysis related to that, or simply trying to preventing to future attacks. And lastly, true attribution. True attribution disrupts cybercriminal operations and campaigns. They are exposing the threat actors, like in the Mr. Xcoder himself, and it helps the government agency to conduct legal actions and takedowns much more easier, and they impose cost against it. With that, I am finishing my slide. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.